Right. So this is now the paper of 2022 May June. And this is variant number 11. Because if you want to write it, then you can write it. Now, starting off with the other question, which is write about the Quran and Sunnah and how they are used with ijma in Islamic law. So this is now going to be a very detailed question because in paragraph number 1, obviously you cannot write a background, okay? Because this question is not of that sort where you can write a background. So here you are going to basically write the introduction, okay? You are not going to write the background, you are now going to write the introduction in paragraph number 1. And what exactly your introduction is going to be? That we have two sources of Islamic law, primary source and a secondary source, where a primary source consists of Quran and Sunnah, while your secondary source consists of Ijma and Qiyas, right? So this is how you are going to start off with your answer, where you are going to write the introduction of sources of Islamic law. Your primary sources are Quran and Sunnah, your secondary sources are Ijma and Qiyas. So after that, you are going to, so this is going to be a first para. Then in your second para, you are going to write about Quran. That Quran is your framework of life. It is the direct word of Allah Ta'ala, and so on and so forth. Then in your third paragraph, you are going to write about Sunnah. And after that, you are going to write about Ijma. And then, because since this is a detailed question, again, in first para, we are going to write the introduction. Okay? First para is going to be your introduction of what basically Islamic laws are and how are they derived. So intro of your Islamic laws, in that I'm repeating again and again so that you remember it. Okay? Intro of your Islamic laws, that there are two sources of
मैम मैम ये वो वाले क्वेश्चन जो आपने रिकॉर्डिंग भेजी थी ये उनके बारे में है?
Yes, these are about those.
Ma'am, can you repeat it
Oh.
again,
Yeah,
please?
I'm
What
repeating
have
it.
you said?
I'm repeating it.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
So in your introduction, you are going to write that we derive Islamic law from two sources. Number 1, primary. Number 2, secondary. Okay? Because I said it, why are we writing the introduction? Because this is a sort of question where we cannot write a background. Okay? This is not a historical question. This is a question which requires description. So in descriptive questions, you are going to write an introduction. Okay, so your first paragraph is going to be about, I'm sorry, I'm writing it on the question, but this is how my pen started to work. Then in your primary sources of Islamic law, you have Quran and you have Sunnah. So this is how your introduction is going to be, that in our primary sources of Islamic law, we have Quran and Sunnah. And in your secondary sources, you have Ijma and Qiyas. So your secondary source of Islamic law consists of Ijma and Qiyas. Number 1, Ijma. Number 2, Qiyas. So this is your first paragraph where you have briefly introduced Islamic laws and how they are derived. This is your first paragraph. Then in your second paragraph, you are going to write about Quran. Okay? What are you exactly going to write about Quran? You are going to write everything about Quran. That Quran is the first and the primary source of Islamic law. It is the framework of our lives, and Allah Ta'ala has commanded us various rulings in Quran. And then in your third paragraph, you are going to introduce, like, these are not going to be brief paragraphs. These are very extensive paragraphs, okay? But the reasoning should come from your side. The explanation should come from your side. Then your third paragraph will have the Sunnah explanation, that what exactly Sunnah is. It is the practical application of the rulings that are derived from Quran. So Nabi Kareem has taught us what Quran commands. Nabi Kareem has practically taught us how to implement them. Okay. Then in your fourth paragraph, you are going to talk about ijma, because this is your question. So your main part is going to start from your fourth paragraph. Okay. The fourth paragraph should be about ijma. And then you are going to write the references that how Quran and Sunnah has approved of ijma. Okay. In your fourth paragraph, you have to write the reference as well. That how Quran and Sunnah have approved the concept of ijma. Then in your fifth paragraph, wait. Then in your fifth paragraph, you are going to give the examples of ijma. Okay. And this is how you are going to conclude your question on the examples of ijma. So fifth para is going to be examples. Okay, we did examples of ijma, I believe. Ijma, you're also going to introduce ijma very well. That ijma is when the scholarly people, they take some decision, they take some mutual decision, and all the Islamic laws, they do not contradict with one another. This is an important point that you're going to mention, that everything is seamlessly integrated, be it Quran, be it Sunnah, be it ijma. So none of the Islamic laws are going to contradict with the basic teachings, and how they are there for us to facilitate in our matters. Okay, we're going to write
मैम
all.
मैम फोर्थ पैरा में रेफरेंस लिखेंगे और फिफ्थ में एग्जांपल.
Yeah, मतलब fourth paragraph,
Okay.
you have to mention the reference along with the introduction, what exactly ijma is. ठीक है, reference plus intro of ijma. Both of
I was
them.
going
Okay,
to
okay.
ask the same question.
Sorry.
Nothing, ma'am.
All right. So समझ आ रही है किस तरीके से आंसर होंगे?
जी.
Yes,
ठीक है.
ma'am.
अच्छा जी, so ठीक है. In the examples, you have to mention that Nabi Kareem has always implemented ijma during his lifetime. Like, he never imposed his decisions. He used to take mashwara. So do not write the word mashwara, because mashwara is an Urdu word. He used to take advice of his companions. Like in Battle of Uhud, he asked whether his companions wanted to go outside or whether they wanted to fight from Medina. Then he took the advice of building a trench during Battle of Trench, and he accepted the decision of, not the decision, but the suggestion of Sayyidina
Hazrat
Salman
Salman
Farsi.
Farsi.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Then after the lifetime of Nabi Kareem, the caliphs also practiced ijma, where Hazrat Usman, he implemented 2 azan of Fridays, and what else? Yeah, Hazrat Abu Bakr compiled Quran upon the suggestion of Sayyidina Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu, because many Hufaz died during Battle of Yamama. And in current times, I believe this is it. Because you have to link Quran, Sunnah with ijma, right? So you do not have to write the modern examples of ijma. You just have to write how Quran and Sunnah are supporting ijma. Okay, so try to construct your answer. You can take 10 minutes. It's 7:49 right now. Try to write the
Ma'am,
entire answer till 7:59.
ma'am, can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
मैम मैंने आपसे लाइक एक बिल्कुल डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन पूछना है कि हजरत जैद बिन साबित जो थे वो
जी.
और हजरत जैद बिन हारिस, क्या ये एक ही लाइक पर्सन है या डिफरेंट है?
They're separate. They're two different people. Sayyidina Zaid bin Haris was like the son of Nabi Karim, not the biological son, but
Yeah, adopted son.
yeah, adopted son. While Sayyidina Zaid bin Sabit was the one who compiled Quran upon the instruction of Hazrat Abu Bakr. Okay, so they are two separate people.
Okay.
All right, so you take 10 minutes to answer this, and then we'll discuss 2B. Should I send a screenshot of this on your group as well?
मैम नहीं समझ तो आ गया.
Ma'am, I want to ask how should we start like the answer? What
Yeah,
should
that's
be
a
the
nice question.
starting of it?
That's a very nice question. So you are going to start that Islamic laws are, there are 2 categories of Islamic law. Or basically you can start with that Islamic laws are derived from 2 sources, primary source and secondary source. Primary sources of Islamic law are Quran and Sunnah, while secondary source of Islamic law are ijma and qiyas. Okay?
Yes.
Then you can write that Islamic laws are are necessary for us because they help us to live our life with proper rulings and
Yes.
Islamic laws. All four categories of Islamic law, they never contradict with one another. So this is how your introduction should be. ठीक है? Many random statements बोले,
Okay.
but आप इसको अगर rephrase if
Yeah.
you want to do it, then you can do it.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
बाकी सब
Ma'am, I can write it later. You can start the
all
other
right.
topic.
ठीक. समझ तो आ गई है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So now let's begin with second part of this question. And जब इसको answer कर लें तो send your answers on the group as well. ठीक है? So we could
Okay,
add.
ma'am.
Acha ji. So now the second part, how has the Quran as a primary source of law helped to unify Muslims over time? So iska proper answer is also written in my slides. कि how Quran is playing a major role in unifying the Muslims. So basically, since all of us are Muslims and we belong to a Muslim community, and we consider that Quran is the fundamental source of guidance, it is it is directly revealed by Allah Ta'ala, and since it is a living miracle, all of us are following the rulings that are mentioned in Quran. So this is uniting all the Muslims across the globe, that we follow we follow the same rules and regulations, that during the month of Ramadan, all of us are going to fast. Then we celebrate Eid al-Adha, we celebrate Eid al-Fitr, and we perform Hajj during the month of Zil Hajj. We perform Sunnat Ibrahimi, which is to sacrifice an animal. So all of us are following the same rules and regulations, be it Muslims in India, be it Muslims in Pakistan, be it Muslims of anywhere in the globe, right? So Quran is the basis of making Islamic laws, and it is the basis of our faith. And this is exactly how we are united. So you can give these examples, all of the examples that I've just mentioned, that during the month of Ramadan, all of us are fasting. During the month of Zil Hajj, Muslims go and they travel to Saudi Arabia, they perform Hajj. Then Muslims all across the globe, they perform the festives of Eid, be it Eid al-Fitr, be it Eid al-Adha. We also perform Sunnat Ibrahimi, which is to sacrifice an animal. And since Allah Ta'ala has promised that He is going to preserve the Quran Himself, so none of the rulings have been changed, and it has prevented so many disagreements that could have arose after Nabi Kareem. So this is how Quran has united all of the Muslims. ठीक है? Make sense?
मैम मैक्सिमम कितने पॉइंट्स लिखने हैं?
For 4 marks, you have to write 4 pointers. If your question is of 4 marks, then 4 pointers are a must. If you write 3 points,
Okay.
then you'll get 3 on 4. If you write 2, then you'll get 2 on 4. So try to write 4 on 4, ठीक है? ताकि you get full marks.
Okay.
अच्छा, समझ आ रही है? सबको आ गया समझ? Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
ठीक है. So, okay, if all of you are going to write your script after the class, then we are then concluding our class, ठीक है? And just try to send your answers as soon as possible so that they can be checked timely. And next week, inshallah, we'll begin with the passages of Hadith and then history and importance of Hadith. Okay. So till then,
Okay, ma'am.
and Jazakallah khair. So take this as your homework and submit it by
Okay.
today. ठीक है?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, take care. Allah Hafiz.
Allah
Hafiz, ma'am.
Hafiz.